Frost doing a fantastic job to score the victory in that first race for Indy Pro 2000. This in front of me instead is the very first rung of this road to Indy. It's the Cooper Tires USF2000 Championship, and we have 17 young drivers set to go to battle here on the streets of Toronto. Let's start back in the 17th position. Tough luck in qualifying. This driver actually getting into the wall early in practice was not able to get the car repaired. They got one essentially reconnaissance lap during the qualifying session. I'm talking about Jack Crawford from Houston, Texas, the rookie driver, just 14 years of age. He'll start 17th in the number 52. Watch for Jack to move forward pretty quickly. Moving to row number 8 on the outside from California, another 14-year-old in the field, Nolan Siegel for Newman Walks Racing. Siegel in the number 36 machine. Inside of row number 8, starting in the 15th, it's Christian Bogle in the number 7 for Jay Howard Driver Development. Moving to row 7 on the outside, it's Yuvan Sundaramurthy, another one of our young rookie drivers in the field, just 16 years of age for Pabst Racing. Sundaramurthy driving the number 21 machine. He'll start 14th. Alongside him from Mexico, Manuel Suleiman in the D-Force Racing, number 12. Suleiman definitely with the speed to run inside the top 10. However, today starting in the 13th position. Moving now to row number 6 on the outside from Greenfield, Indiana. Tough luck yesterday in our final qualifying session. Zach Holden for Legacy Autosport, his first race with the team. He'll start in the 12th position in the number 14. Inside of row number 6 from England, it's Matt Round-Garrido in the number 27 for BN Racing. Moving now into the top 10, starting on the outside. Actually, team drivers side by side from Miller Vinatieri Motorsports. Jack William Miller on the outside of the number 40, and on the inside, Eduardo Barrichello, second generation driver. His father, of course, Formula One great Rubens Barrichello. Eduardo looking very good here this weekend in Toronto. He'll start the number 41 machine from P9. Moving now to row number 4 on the outside, a winner earlier on this year on the oval at Lucas Oil Raceway, a driver from Australia running for Newman Walks Racing. It's Cameron Shields in the number 73. Shields actually coming from the same hometown as Will Power in Toowoomba. Inside of that row number 4, the only young lady in the road to Indy here in 2019, Bruna Tomaselli from Brazil for Pabst Racing in the number 24. She'll start in the 7th position. Moving now to row number 3 on the outside, your current point leader. He starts all the way back in 6th position, Braden Eves from Gahanna, Ohio. 5 wins and 7 starts. Braden Eves, a rookie with Cape Motorsports. He'll start 6th position. Definitely a driver to keep your eye on. Braden Eves in the number 8. Inside of that row, consistency's been strong for this guy here this year. Colin Kaminsky out of Chicago, Illinois for Pabst Racing. A couple of podium finishes in recent races, qualified on the pole at both Road America and the oval Lucas Oil Raceway. Kaminsky in the number 23, starting in the 5th position. We'll go now to row number 2. Excellent qualifying run. Another one of our 3 14-year-old drivers from Puerto Rico, a star in junior karting here in North America. Reese Gold for Cape Motorsports in that number 3. The Gold machine scheduled to start in the 4th position. Moving now to the inside of row number 2. Great story here. Driver from New Zealand. Came over last year in the shootout for the $200,000 scholarship. The road to Indy had programs all around the world. We were working with champions of open wheel. They all got a chance to come to Arizona to shoot it out to see who was going to take the $200,000 scholarship. With over 20 people coming out, 20 great young drivers shooting it out, it was this driver, Hunter McElroy from New Zealand, who was able to win that shootout. Has the Mazda Soul Red colors on the number 22 for Pabst Racing. Hunter McElroy going to start in the 3rd position. Hunter had some trouble in qualifying, got into the wall. It won't be such a good starting spot for tomorrow's race, so he has to do something here today, as Hunter McElroy has entered this weekend in Toronto, sitting 2nd in the points. He needs a good run here today to try to close up the gap on Braden Eves. 17 drivers in the field, 2 on the front row. Off pole from Boca Raton, Florida for Cape Motorsports, 3rd year in the series. Qualified on pole for race number 2 tomorrow. That's Darren Keene in the number 2 machine for Cape Motorsports. Keene starting in the 2nd spot. But the driver who was able to get on the pole position, we had this guy got it done and got it done early. Christian Rasmussen from Denmark in the number 6 for Jay Howard Driver Development, starting on the pole. A 113.545, 0.2 quicker than Darren Keene. They'll flip-flop their positions for tomorrow. It was actually Keene who qualified on pole. Rasmussen showing that he has the speed based on what he did yesterday and what he did today. He'll start 2nd tomorrow, but today he will lead this field to the green flag when they come out of turn number 11. After the NTT IndyCar practice session that just wrapped up, the track crew having to do some work on a couple of areas on the track, both the barriers and a number of corners with the tires. We did have some impact over in turn number 8, so the crew is continuing to work over there as well. One of the key parts of this racetrack, as we have seen throughout this weekend, big time yesterday on Fan Friday, that 9, 10, 11 complex, turn 11 in particular, that's that left-hander that leads onto the front straightaway. We've had a number of drivers make contact with the outer wall. Saw that as well in the Indy Pro 2000 race as Moises de Oliveira made hard contact with the outside retaining wall. We'll look forward to seeing our young drivers here at the very first rung of this Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires, clean and green, hopefully going from green to checker. Drivers you're going to see coming out anywhere from around 14 to about 22 years of age in this particular category. A lot of them 14, 15, 16, 17 years of age. Of course, many of them coming out of national level karting. They've done their racing license at one of the accredited schools around North America, many of them coming through the Lucas Oil School of Racing, the new official school of the Road to Indy, presented by Cooper Tires. But again, 17 drivers will be set to go. Rasmussen and Keene will be on row number 1. McElray and Gold on row 2. Kaminsky and Eves on row 3. Tomaselli and Shields on row 4. Barrichello and Miller on row 5. Round, Garrido and Holden, row 6. Suleiman and Sundaramurthy on row 7. Bogle and Siegel on row 8. And Crawford by himself, as I said, on row number 9. And again, Jack Crawford, tough for him, got caught up in an incident on the opening lap of practice on Friday morning, 8 a.m., bright and early. First lap, we had contact, driver getting into the wall, coming out of turn 11. Crawford with nowhere to go, major damage to the car. Sprained his right ankle, but of course he now getting ready to go. It took them all day to get that car fixed. They were able to get him back out for qualifying, but only for one lap at the very end. So he's only done one lap. He's never been on this racetrack before. So it'll be interesting to see how Jack Crawford handles the first couple of laps as he really just gets a chance to get around this racetrack at full speed. Crawford from Houston, Texas, starting in that number 17 position. Keep an eye on the number 52. So getting the call from race control less than 3 minutes before we get things fired up once again. 6 different races, part of the Road to Indy on the schedule for this weekend. We've already wrapped up our first Indy Pro 2000 race. Exclusive Auto Sports, Daniel Frost winning that one. Exclusive Auto Sport, the only Canadian team here on the Road to Indy, based out of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Daniel Frost scoring the big win. Point leader Rasmus Lint coming home second, a good result for him. And Parker Thompson, the Canadian driver so many of you have followed over the number of years here in Toronto. Parker Thompson finishing third. Parker actually doing double duty here this weekend. He'll be jumping out of his Indy Pro car into one of the Porsche GT3s and back and forth all weekend long. So many people obviously envious of getting the chance to do that, but it will be a tough transition for Parker going back and forth. Such different race cars, the very nimble and light Indy Pro 2000 car, and of course the much heavier, larger Porsche GT3. Once again, less than 2 minutes away, and we will let these drivers flick the ignition and get things underway. It's interesting as I kind of walk up and down here, you see some of the drivers with their heads down, eyes closed, potentially actually falling asleep, but getting them back into it, getting a little nap time in, getting that focus. Less than a minute to go, folks. And again, 17 drivers ready to fire up these power plants, 170 horsepower. Steve Knapp and his crew at Elite Engines building all the power plants for both USF2000 and Indy Pro, doing a tremendous job of giving everyone these equal power plants, and that's what powers this Road to Indy, presented by Cooper Tires. So folks, joining me down here on pit lane right now, one of our guests from Cooper Tires, Jonathan Thomas, will be helping me get things underway. I know all these drivers itching to flick that throttle and fire up these power plants as we again get ready to go under beautiful blue skies here at the Honda Indy Toronto. An absolutely textbook Chamber of Commerce weekend. We hope you're enjoying the day so far. Great racing for you, ladies and gentlemen. And again, to join me down here, Jonathan Thomas of Cooper Tires with the command.
Thank you. And on behalf of everyone at Cooper Tires and the men and women who engineer and make the great race tires you're driving on today, drivers, start your engines.
And with that command, engines come to life down here on pit lane. Michael Young, we're about ready to go racing.
How about it, race fans? Getting ready for race number 2. The field about to roll off pit lane, and Christian Rasmussen will bring the field down. We will begin forming the grid much like we did with the Indy Pro 2000 cars. Just one pace lap, so they will go green the first time by. We'll start the formation at the exit of turn number 8. 9 rows, 17 cars making up this field. The first rung of this Road to Indy program, the Cooper Tires USF2000 Championship. And the field away. The field away. Christian Rasmussen on the throttle. Darren Keene right behind him, getting those Cooper tires warmed up. Hunter McElvey. Reese Gold issues in the second qualification session. Starts him at the tail end of the field, but this afternoon, or I should say this morning, he will start on the outside of row number 2. So again, row 1, Rasmussen and Keene. Row 2, Hunter McElvey and Reese Gold. Colin Kaminsky, Braden Eves will make up row 3. Bruno Tomaselli, Cameron Shields in row number 4. Eduardo Barrichello, son of Rubens Barrichello, starts on the inside of row number 5 alongside his teammate Jack Miller. Matt Round Garrido will be on the inside of row number 6. Zach Holden will start on the outside. Manuel Suleiman inside of row number 7. Yuven Sudamarudi will start on the outside of row number 7. Bogle Siegel, Jack Crawford, as you heard Rob Howden talk about, will start at the rear end of the field. It'll be a very exciting race. The first one of the weekend for the first rung of the Road to Indy program. Our second race of this very long race weekend. The field now through turn number 4, through turn number 5. There you see the field of 17 making their way through. Pace car will start to pull away at the exit of turn number 7, and then you will see Christian Rasmussen starting to get the field aligned in rows of 2. Darren Keene will be along the outside. Shot back to turn number 6. And now you see the tail end of the field starting to catch our pole sitter, Christian Rasmussen. And now the formation will begin. Joined in the public address booth by the voice of this Road to Indy program, Rob Howden. And Rob, always a thrill. Very tight quarters, getting these rows aligned, going through turns 9, 10, and 11. We're about to go green here at the USF2000 Championship.
Let's turn it up, folks. One lap for these drivers to get some heat into these Cooper tires. They'll roll out of turn number 11. Again, Rasmussen on the inside, Keene on the outside. Green, green, green. Drivers racing their way down into turn number 1. Deep move to the inside. Couple other drivers coming in deep. You got to give some extra room coming through turn number 1. We want these USF2000 drivers to get through cleanly, decent through 1. Coming through turn number 2, still too wide. Now the big run down Lakeshore Boulevard. Christian Rasmussen with the lead. Keene goes to second. Right behind him, Hunter McElvey in the Mazda Soul Red machine. He runs in third. Here's your first run down. Rasmussen will take that lead. Can they get through turn 3 cleanly? Good so far. Come on, boys and girls, get the job done nicely through 3, up through 4, and over to 5. Rasmussen, Keene, McElvey. And then I believe at that point it is Eves and then Shields, I think, coming through turn number 5. First time through. Rasmussen with about 4 car lengths as he comes through 6. Over to 7 now. They'll work their way over to turn number 8. Very tricky corner, especially here on cold tires. Everyone trying to roll the corner speed through. Reese Gold holding on to a pretty good spot. He may be into 5th. That could be 6th for, I think, Shields at that point. Trying to figure out whether that Shields has worked his way up. No, Shields is further back, pardon me. That's going to be Kaminsky. We'll give you a top 5 rundown as they come through first time by. Christian Rasmussen the leader. Keene in 2nd. Eves 3rd. Gold 4th. Shields in the 5th spot. 6th is Kaminsky. 7th is Holden. 8th is Round Garrido. 9th, Tomaselli. 10th is Jack Miller. What happened to Hunter McElvey? Looks like he has fallen to the tail of the field. He was 3rd. No, he's still there. That's got to be a timing. We're looking at live timing here, folks, as I know many of you are at home as well. He's fallen to the tail of the field on live timing, but it appears to me like he still runs in that 3rd position. Easy to pick up that Soul Red Mazda. Cameron Shields now trying to go to work here on Reese Gold for the 4th position. He was rolling around the outside. Tough Michael, to run the outside out of turn number 3, because that turn 4 comes up pretty quickly.
And these very nimble cars a little bit more apt to doing that as opposed to the Indy Pro 2000 Indy Lights cars, the big Indy cars. These cars a lot more nimble. The driver's able to find their way through. Very impressed with this field of 17, getting to single file early. A couple of battles further back in the field, and there you see Reese Gold there trying to hang on to that 4th position. He has all kinds of problems. Cameron Shields, Colin Kaminsky trying to take over 4th from Reese Gold.
I actually think that might be Zach Holden, who has worked his way up now. Yeah, Zach Holden in the Legacy Autosports machine. He's now up into the 6th position. So 3 drivers out front, Christian Rasmussen, Darren Keene, and Braden Eves. That's the front-running 3. Then you've got Reese Gold, Cameron Shields, and Zach Holden, 4th, 5th, and 6th. That's kind of 2 groups of 3 here now. You'll see them as they roll down the straightaway. There's the gap there for Rasmussen. Pretty solid lead now over Darren Keene. There's that next group of Gold, Shields, and Holden. Now remember that I said 4, 5, 6. It's actually 5th, 6th, 7th because you got to put Hunter McElroy back up in. Looks to me like they're probably just trying to manually score the laps on McElroy if you are watching live timing. This is turn 5, the Cooper Tire corner here at the Honda Indy Toronto through turn 6. High commitment corner. You're back on the throttle through 6. A little touch coming through 6, but then through the kink at turn 7, you're full pin, driving it all the way down deep into the very, very bumpy right-hand turn number 8. There's the lead again. Christian Rasmussen looking pretty good out front. Darren Keene running in second. Your point leader, Braden Eves, now in the 4th spot behind Hunter McElroy.
I believe Reese Gold may have lost that 5th position. They come out of turn number 11. And indeed, Reese Gold lost 2 positions that time by Shields, and Holden will get around.
Yeah, Cameron Shields now up in the 5th spot. Here come the leaders through turn number 1. There's Eves. You'll see the gap all the way back. Cameron Shields in the Newman Walks Racing entry has gone into the 5th position. Good job there for Shields. Started 8th, now up into P5. We say hello to everyone listening back in Toowoomba, Australia. We know that they like to tune in to his racing. Here goes a move. Shields actually going to have a fight here with Holden. Zach Holden in the Legacy Autosport car trying to go around the outside into turn number 3. As they come through, that's 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. I'm not sure. Hard to pick up whether that was Shields or Holden that was able to come through. It is indeed Holden through. Zach Holden goes to 5th. Cameron Shields in the 6th spot. 7th is Reese Gold. 8th, Matt Round-Garrido. 9th and 10th, Colin Kaminsky and Manuel Suleiman.
I believe Matt Round-Garrido may have got around Reese Gold as well, as Gold begins to drop through the field, having a tough time at the start of this race. Issues in qualifying earlier this morning.
I think for Reese, with that kind of messed up, truncated qualifying session we had, he was able to put a good lap down early. That put him into 4th. He held on to that 4th spot when we had the late caution. We weren't able to get a lot of green flag running time in that qualifying session. Coming through turn number 1, 2, and over to 3 again. There's your lead quartet coming through. You can see Rasmussen still with a pretty good lead. Keene was about a 10th quicker last time by. This is it. Early in this run, 4 laps down, 16 laps still to go. You got to take care of your tires. Who is going to have the car that's going to come in late? Darren Keene running very conservatively right now. P2, only back by 0.8 of a second, but he was over a 10th quicker last time by. Darren Keene trying to hunt down Christian Rasmussen.
Reese Gold, another side-by-side battle further back in the field. Colin Kaminsky will get around down into turn number 3. Field now working their way through turn number 7, and then that hard right-hander, a difficult corner for most of this weekend thus far. Turn number 8, Christian Rasmussen, about an 8-car length advantage as he exits turn number 9. Now works that right-hander and left-hander turn number 10, and the left hand of turn number 11. Comes Christian Rasmussen, back end steps out ever so slightly. Darren Keene, Hunter McElroy, your top 4, then Braden Eves.
Like looking at lap times now to see the gap. Wow, Rasmussen just turned the fastest lap. He goes purple here on lap number 5, 112.431. Able to gap Darren Keene by 0.3 of a second. Last couple of laps, Keene was kind of closing up about 1/10 of a second at a time, but Rasmussen, you're going to get to the point right now where that draft that Keene's able to pull isn't going to be quite as much. Every time Rasmussen pulls another 1/10, that draft back significantly less.
And he keeps setting new fastest lap of the race, does Christian Rasmussen, every time he comes by. 1.1 second lead for Christian Rasmussen over Darren Keene.
So Zach Holden His first run here this weekend for Legacy Autosport. He's been kind of a sporadic competitor over the last couple of years here in USF2000. Alex Barron started the year for Legacy Autosport. He has left the team. That left an opening. They brought in Zach Holden, who they believe was going to be able to do something good in their car, and he's definitely doing that right now. P5 position for the driver from Greenfield, Indiana, Zach Holden, and the number 14 for Legacy running P5. Right behind him is Cameron Shields in the Newman Walks Racing Machine. He's sixth. Almost a spin there for Braden Eves. You saw it on the camera, folks. Braden Eves, a handful of wheel coming out of turn number 11. That thing almost got away on Eves. I thought he was going to end up in the wall there, Michael. You got to give him props. Off the throttle, sawing on the wheel. Good car control for Braden Eves, who runs in fourth, but that was a moment that will probably stick in his mind next time through turn number 11.
Further back in the field, Manuel Suleiman gets around Reese Gold. That was for the 9th position. Now Jack Miller working on that rear wing of Reese Gold. Jack Miller with Miller Vinatieri Motorsports. His teammate further back in the field, Eduardo Barrichello, had a rough start, has fallen back to the 16th position.
That's interesting. Tough for him. Eduardo Barrichello started 9th all the way back into 15th, as Michael had just pointed out. Jack Crawford started dead last, has chipped his way now up into the 13th position, just about a second behind Christian Bogle. Both those drivers turning high 113s now, but again, as I said, Jack Crawford, when we talked about the intro, his first laps on this racetrack in this race. He only got one lap in qualifying after a massive wreck in the opening practice, sent that team to work for about 6 hours to get him out for that one lap. Darren Keene just reset fast lap of the race in P2 of 112.140. Keene trying to reel in Christian Rasmussen. Michael, Braden Eves, 5 wins in 7 races. Did not win one of the races at Road America and did not win at the Oval. Of course, the Oval went to Cameron Shields. The other race at Road America to Hunter McElroy. He's got a pretty solid lead in the points, but he's running 4th right now. And the drivers that are right behind him, Darren Keene and Hunter McElroy, they're ahead of him right now. So both of those drivers trying to chip away at that point lead currently held by Braden Eves, the young pilot from Ohio.
Well, Matt Round-Garrido trying to get around, or Cameron Shields, I should say, trying to get around Matt Round-Garrido. That was down in turn number 3, a great side-by-side battle through turn number 5.
So Matt Round-Garrido goes to P6, Shields back to 7th. We're going to have a battle here pretty soon, I think, between Darren Keene and Christian Rasmussen. Keene closing. Last time by, it was just a full second, 1.03. It looks to me like he has closed up a bit as the drivers have worked their way onto the front straightaway. Indeed, when they cross the stripe, let's see what the gap now is between first and second. That gap now, just 0.8 of a second. Darren Keene resets fast lap. Front 4 drivers have checked out on the field here. 8 laps down, 12 to go at USF2000. Christian Rasmussen looking to try to get his first USF2000 win. They'll work their way down the back straightaway again. There's that huge gap back as well to Zach Holden. Holden with some pretty open room. Now he's got 4 seconds on Matt Round-Garrido. And actually Colin Kaminsky's got by Cameron Shields as well. So I wonder if Shields potentially has some damage as he's falling down a little bit here. I'll try to get a look at him visually next time he comes by start-finish. We'll look at that number 73 Newman Walks Racing entry. But Shields has lost a couple positions here in the last couple laps. Matt Round-Garrido and Colin Kaminsky getting by. Shields still, actually he's got Suleiman probably on the rear wing now too. We'll get a look at that when they come back through here again. Drivers working their way out of the final couple of corners. We're going to get some visuals for you. So you can see them coming right now through turns 10. That's turn 10, back through 11. Drivers working their way out at turn number 11. Here comes Eves as well. There's Braden Eves. Again, we'll try to pick up Cameron Shields to see what's going on. Zach Holden coming by us here. Round-Garrido, the 23 of Kaminsky. Cameron Shields went by, Michael. I didn't see any damage to any of the wings. Car seems to be running pretty good. He just did a 112.9 though. He needs to get down. He's running the same lap times as Garrido, but he needs to get down into the low 112s. So Cameron Shields got the elbows up right now, trying to see if he can't hold on to this position in 8th. He's got Manuel Suleiman right with him. You get that battle for Round-Garrido and Kaminsky.
I believe it was Shields and Kaminsky. Oh, yeah, you're right. Round-Garrido and Kaminsky.
But Shields getting pressured big time by Suleiman as well. They're probably too wide coming down to 2 and 3. In fact, I think Suleiman able to get by. They'll work their way over here again. Indeed, Suleiman
Yep.
by. Manuel Suleiman by Cameron Shields, who has now fallen down, I believe, into the 9th position.
Suleiman moves to 8th. Nice pass down into turn number 3 for Manuel Suleiman.
Darren Keene chipping away at the lead now of Christian Rasmussen. Less than 0.8 of a second with the last lap, down to 0.784. This lap, 0.9 as Rasmussen goes quicker. They're going back and forth right now, so no clear-cut kind of leader in terms of pace. Looks to be like Keene was coming.
Boy, Suleiman going for some more. Manuel Suleiman trying to get around Matt Roungarito into turn number 1.
So Cameron Shields with about a 2.6-second lead on Jack Miller, so maybe he's locked there at 9th, but indeed Suleiman and Matt Roungarito going at it. We'll keep a watch out for that. Turn number 6, you'll see the drivers working their way through now. Hey, I think Keene is through.
Yep.
Darren Keene through to take over the lead. Darren Keene, the leader. What happened to Rasmussen?
I think it was down to turn number 3. I thought that pass happened down to turn number 3 because I saw Darren Keene through in turn number 4.
Open racetrack for the driver from Boca Raton.
Whoa.
Oh, he almost throws it away in turn number 8. Or turn 9, rather. Darren Keene coming through turn 9, almost tossed it away. He's got Rasmussen right back on him. So Darren Keene took over the lead, came through turn number 8, almost tossed it away. They'll work their way through turn 1. Exciting racing here, Michael. Just past the halfway point.
That tough turn number 8, the exit for Darren Keene, nearly, as you said, threw it away.
Wow. As he tried to transition to turn number 9, the rear end stepped out on him. He had to put a lot of wheel in it and did a good job there.
Manuel Suleiman able to get around Matt Roungarito. That was for the 8th position. Now that battle back down into 3rd. Christian Rasmussen looks to the outside into turn number 5.
Is this fight for the lead going to bring Hunter McElroy back in the hunt as well? Hunter's closing up. He was about 0.3 quicker than Keene on that last lap. Look at this battle, 1st and 2nd going at it through turn 6. This is some aggressive racing for two drivers that probably could just settle in here and get these points.
And you called it too. Hunter McElroy now all over that battle as well. He's only about 2 car lengths behind the rear wing of Christian Rasmussen.
Indeed. This time a better run through turn number 8 for Darren Keene. If he puts a couple good laps down, he may be able to stretch away. Let's see what happens because Christian Rasmussen is going to have to start thinking about Hunter McElroy pretty soon.
Well, the gap from Rasmussen to McElroy was 4 seconds last time by. This time by the gap 1.5 seconds, so he gained 3 seconds there with that battle for the 2 in the front going at it.
Darren Keene starting to stretch away a bit here. 8 laps remaining into the second half of this one. Indeed, Darren Keene pulling away. Christian Rasmussen runs in 2nd. Hunter McElroy 3rd. Your point leader Braden Eves running in that 4 spot. Oh, little rotation trying to get into the corner. You could see maybe some trail break in there. I don't know because Keene had that thing rotating coming into turn number 3. This is when you got to put down good laps. He's got a decent lead of about 0.5 second. Hunter McElroy is going to start putting pressure on Rasmussen. That's going to take his focus away from pushing forward. Darren Keene leading here in the number 2.
You had to think about Darren Keene. He got the lead, nearly threw it away at the exit of turn number 8 and into turn number 9, so maybe 1.5 laps just to catch his breath and get his rhythm going again, because once he got that rhythm, he's pulled back away from Christian Rasmussen.
Yeah, I think you're pretty bang on.
Whoa! Christian Rasmussen nearly lost it.
There he goes. Rasmussen coming through turn number 10, has some trouble. He goes way wide in turn 11, luckily keep it out of the wall, but as they work their way down into turn number 1 right now, indeed, McElroy has gone through. Hunter McElroy through to the 2nd position.
Christian Rasmussen was all kinds of sideways, exiting turn number 10. You saw he nearly hit the wall, that right rear coming out of 11.
Very lucky for Rasmussen. I'm not sure if that car's going away a little bit or he might have just got into the marbles. Very lucky to keep that thing going. Here's your top 10 right now, folks. We have, I believe, 7 laps remaining. Darren Keene, your leader. McElroy runs 2nd, Rasmussen 3rd, Eves in 4th, and Zach Holden rounding out the top 5. Colin Kaminsky runs in the 6th spot. Manuel Suleiman in 7th, Matt Roungarito in 8th, Cameron Shields in 9th, and Jack Miller now in that 10th position. There's your top 10. Reese Gold, who ran up front early, back into the 12th spot here. But again, peril around every corner here in Toronto. Those further back need to run clean laps. We almost saw an issue there for Christian Rasmussen last time through, and Hunter McElroy starting to turn up the wick. Does he have what it takes to reel in Darren Keene now? We'll look at lap times again when they come back across the line here. Keene at 112 flat. There's a 112.8. Oh, 111.9, a full second quicker for Hunter McElroy. He is the man on the move right now. Darren Keene's got to get going. 6 laps to go, and McElroy is closing on Keene. Christian Rasmussen's trying to come with him as well. They'll work their way down here into turn number 3. McElroy most definitely close. Braden Eves running by himself there in 4th spot. We got the top 3 drivers separated by about a second here right now with 5 to go. Oh, a little oversteer on the exit for Rasmussen coming out of turn number 5. The rear end getting away on him at the apex.
He is struggling with that car. This second half of this race, he just has a handful trying to keep that thing under control, does Christian Rasmussen.
Darren Keene out of turn number 8 cleanly. He's got to put down a couple of good laps here now. He's got about an 0.8 of a second lead, probably down to about a half a second when they get back to the stripe here. But just 5 laps remaining here in USF 2000. 5 to go. There's Keene, or rather there's Eves coming through turn number 11. This is the shot at turn 11. It's been a tough part of this racetrack this weekend.
Very nice lap for Keene that time by.
Yeah.
Minute 11.6, so he gained a 10th. Well
And
done.
fast lap. He goes purple.
Yep.
And you know what? That's what he had to do. He was getting challenged. He needed to get his head back right. Big draft, though, here for McElroy down the back straightaway. That's Lake Shore Boulevard here in Toronto. The run down into turn number 3. You can see how close first and second still remain. Braden Eves actually closing up, I think, a little bit here as well from P4, but again, coming in with such a massive lead in the points. Eves, a 4th place finish, still very good for him as he's trying to head to Mid-Ohio in a couple of weeks with this point lead.
Made a great point with Darren Keene. He just needed to focus forward, put down some great lap times, and indeed to set the quickest lap of the race, and then outdrive Hunter McElroy by a 1/10 of a second, and taking nothing away from Hunter McElroy. He is running a great race as well, but this is what Darren Keene needs to do. We will have 4 laps remaining this time by.
Keene stretching it out even more with almost a full second last time by. We saw a challenge there for a couple of laps. It appears now that Hunter McElroy may be thinking more about trying to hold on to second place. Christian Rasmussen has not given up at all. Rasmussen still, you can see, just about a length and a half off the gearbox of Hunter McElroy. American leads, New Zealand running second, Denmark in third, then a couple of Americans 4th, 5th, and 6th. Eves, Holden, and Kaminsky. Here comes Rasmussen. He may make a move on McElroy now down into turn number 3. Indeed, to the inside, book it. Rasmussen goes back to P2 with a great move. We got yellow flags. We're being told full course yellow. Full course yellow with just 4 laps remaining. So again, yellow flags fly. Rasmussen had just made the pass for second. Potentially Cameron Shields in the number 73. Shields into the tire barriers, we believe, potentially in turn number 8. We'll come back to the camera, try to find turn 8 for you. Indeed. Yeah, Cameron Shields made contact with the tires in turn number 8. He was running in the 9th position. There's a shot at turn 8 for you now. The AMR safety crew has got there. I don't know if he even got to the tires or whether or not. Okay, we're going to get a replay, folks, from turn number 8 of Cameron Shields. Here's Shields. No, that's not Shields yet.
Back end. He just clipped it.
He just missed the apex completely.
And he'll
Overcaught the
clip
corner.
tires.
Going to catch the tires. That's going to rotate that car around. Left front contact, right front contact. Ow. Not good for Cameron Shields.
A little bit resembling the incident by Ryan Hunter-Reay. Just missed that turn. We've seen a couple of drivers do that, kind of miss that apex, and then Cameron almost had it saved, but clipped the tires with that front left.
Yeah, we saw Zach Holden do it yesterday as well. It's going to be left side damage, both front and rear for Cameron Shields. Just overcooked it coming through turn number 8. Didn't get down to the apex.
Cameron out of the car. We saw him get into the AMR safety vehicle, so he's okay.
Not a heavy hit, let's put it that way. The left front caught the tires. I think, in fact, probably the tires doing most of the damage on the car. The issue here is 3 laps to go. Will they get it cleaned up quick enough for us to go back to green? Darren Keene with the lead, Christian Rasmussen in second, Hunter McElroy third, Braden Eves in fourth, and Zach Holden in fifth spot.
All right, let's reset what happened before that caution came out. Christian Rasmussen, a handful of a car, gets around Hunter McElroy in turn number 3. Now is on the attack with Darren Keene. Now he's going to be right on the rear wing of Darren Keene on a restart if we're able to get one in.
Yeah, again, that's what we'll see. I'm kind of having a good look here to see what kind of urgency they're working on to try to get this car up and out of the way. Again, once they get him, they can get into pit lane very quickly. They'll drive him straight to pit lane. We'll be able to go back to green.
Tires don't look too terribly bad. That front left just clipped the very outside part of that tire barrier. Now, if these tires aren't stable enough for them to go back to, and safe enough for them to go back to the green flag racing situation, we'll probably see this race come to an end under caution. AMR safety team, the CAA wrecker on site. The Cameron Shields incident, putting that car on the hook. And as Rob said, once they get it on the hook, they'll be able to pull right into pit lane and pull off. Doesn't look like they're working on that tire barrier at all. They've looked at it a couple of times.
So Darren Keene, let's just say this here, bringing the field down to the line here to complete lap number 18. Only 2 more laps remaining. We may not go back to green. We'll see.
They'll have to get by the time the field gets to turn 5 or 6, they'll have to get that car of Cameron Shields off the track. And again, they're looking for little bits of debris.
Oh, they've got it up.
Yep.
They've got it up.
So we'll watch the AMR safety team. Watch the video boards, race fans. There you see the AMR safety team. Begin to put there goes Cameron into the AMR safety vehicle. He was alongside the AMR safety number 3.
Just got a little too wide coming through turn number 8. Wasn't able to get the car down to the apex, and it's just that the angle of attack, you're just pointing straight to the outside of the track. Even though you're getting enough wheel on it, you're trying to turn away from the tires. There's not much you can do.
Hey, guess what? I think we might see a green flag before this is over.
We might go back to green.
No, one-lap shootout.
It's not going to be green-white checker, folks. It's going to be green checker. We're going to get 1 lap. AMR safety team going to work. Look at these guys just getting at it quickly, trying to clean some of the dust off the corner. Haven't got the official word yet, but I expect that we're going to go back to green. Looks pretty good here right now. Again, they'll complete lap number 19, and very likely we'll see the green flag when they come back around. It's going to be a 1-lap dash for the race win here in the Cooper Tires USF2000 Championship. Darren Keene leading, Christian Rasmussen in second, Hunter McElroy third, Braden Eves fourth, and Zach Holden now in the 5th spot. It's going to be a good battle. Again, who's going to be the most aggressive? Is it Rasmussen on Keene? Is it McElroy on Rasmussen? Because McElroy's got to get the job done here, folks. Pace car has ducked on off into pit lane. Here comes the field through turn number 8. The pace will be set by Keene. When does he jump on it? He's on the throttle quite yet. Coming through turn number 10 over through turn number 11. 1-lap dash here at USF 2000. Green, green, green. The run down to turn number 1 will be crucial. Can Keene outrun Rasmussen? He does. Keene clean through turn number 1. Rasmussen, a little bit of entry oversteer. The rear end breaking loose on him a little bit. They'll work their way out of turn 1. This is the big run down Lake Shore Boulevard. Keene with the lead for Cape Motorsports. It's the Jay Howard driver development pilot right up behind him in the draft. Rasmussen right behind Keene as they work their way down the straightaway into the hard braking right hand turn number 3. Keene to the inside, Rasmussen to the outside, turn number 4, side by side through the corner, over to turn number 5 now. Who's going to have it coming in?
Oh, Keene has it.
Still with the lead. Keene has the lead. Darren Keene holding him off. Tremendous racing here in USF 2000. Excellent run. Keene holding on, trying to get his first ever race win here in USF 2000. Rasmussen runs second. The point leader, Braden Eves, all the way back now into the 4th position. No challenge from Holden. They're getting stacked up behind. There's trouble for the driver.
Oh, Hunter McElroy.
Hunter McElroy had trouble, but out of the turn number 11. Ladies and gentlemen, can he get through here cleanly? He does. His first win in USF 2000. Darren Keene, victorious on the streets of Toronto. Darren Keene winning in USF 2000. Christian Rasmussen second. What happened Hunter McElroy still in the third spot, but coming out of turn 8, he stacked them up.
Braden Eves was all over his rear wing. Hunter had a moment coming out of that right-hander in turn number 8. Eves was jumping and chomping at the bit trying to get around him, but Hunter McElroy able to hold off Braden Eves just a half a car length by the time they got down to the start-finish line. What a drive for Darren Keene. A lot of pressure on that young man. A big restart for him, and he answered the bell and did a great job and held off Christian Rasmussen down in that very tough 3-4-5 complex.
You got to think about the mental aspect of this game. Darren Keene's been trying to win for 3 years. He's been trying to battle for Cape Motorsports. His teammate has won 5 times. He's watched his teammate win races. Well, he's had trouble. Well, no longer. Darren Keene now a winner here in USF2000 as he overcomes a late race battle and then a one-lap restart shootout to win by 1.1 seconds over Christian Rasmussen.
What do you think that OLG Victory Circle is going to be like?
I'm going to go down and check it out.
All right. Sounds like a winner. The OLG Victory Circle just outside the exit of the Enercare Center. When you're coming out the west end, you'll get down across the steps. You'll make a right. That is where our victory celebrations will happen. And our pre-race festivities for the NTT IndyCar Series race will happen on Sunday. But that's where all the celebrating will happen all weekend long as the field of 17 make their way back to pit lane. Congratulations to Darren Keene, his first ever USF 2000 victory, defeating Christian Rasmussen, Hunter McElroy. That was a great battle down to the end. Held on to that lead as he and Rasmussen nearly went side by side. And there you see the machine of Darren Keene has come to a rest in the OLG winner's circle. We will watch him unbuckle, and I would imagine will be a very exuberant celebration for Darren Keene. Congratulations to that young man. A great drive for him, and he cannot get that helmet off quick enough. He'll get the helmet removed, unhook the radio. Now the balaclava comes off. And here he comes. How about a nice round of applause for him, race fans, as he steps out of that USF 2000 machine. Steering wheel away. And there he is, the winner of the USF 2000 race number 1, Darren Keene. He's been working on that for quite some time. Finally got it done. Hugs all around for Darren Keene. A great drive for that young man from Boca Raton, Florida, Cape Motorsports. Cal Development Keene Architectural Woodwork, sponsor on that car, brings it to the OLG winner's circle, victorious in race number 1. Boy, do we have lots more racing action coming up next. We'll have our victory podium celebration, and then we continue throughout the day. We'll have our GT3 Cup qualifying. The Porsches will be on track momentarily. Then the last rung of the Road to Indy ladder, the Indy Lights race number 1 at 12:45, qualifying for the Indy Cars Porsche race. And we'll wrap up the day with the stars of the NASCAR Pinty Series. Alex Tagliani bringing the field down. He'll have the pole position later on this afternoon, but still plenty of racing action between now and then. And we will join Darren Keene momentarily as Rob Howden begins our victory podium celebration. Keene, Rasmussen, Hunter McElroy will adorn the top 3 steps here in race number 1 of this Cooper Tires USF 2000 Championship. What a big race for Darren Keene. He will be back in action. He and the rest of the 17-car field tomorrow, their second race of the weekend. If you are on the main straightaway, you'll see the Porsche starting to make their way to pit lane as we do the Porsche GT3 Cup Canada by Yokohama qualifying session. It'll be a quick 15-minute session. Roman DeAngelis been quick this entire race weekend. Of course, you've heard the name Parker Thompson now several times. Driving that Indy Pro 2000 machine. Parker will drive one of the Porsches, the number 3 Porsche. Qualifying for the Porsches coming up next. But before we do that, we will need to hand out some hardware with our top 3 finishers. What an impressive battle. All right, so let's do some celebrating. Rob Howden, you're down there with our top 3 finishers. Let's hand out some hardware here on the streets of Toronto. Rob?
No doubt, Michael. We got some very, very happy individuals, happy teams down here. A first-time winner here in USF2000 as well. Always big when we get a driver getting that first win. Let's start, though, with the third-place finisher. Great run, and what a battle it was at the end of this one. Of course, this USF2000 race was epic. A lot of great racing and an exciting last lap dash for sure. Coming home in third place today, all the way, folks from New Zealand, put your hands together for Hunter McElray. Third spot for Hunter. We'll get him up on top of the podium. We got some of our guests here from Cooper Tires to help us out, handing out some hardware. Third place trophy will be delivered by Anna Sosnowska. Anna, come on up here and give us a hand. Hop up on the podium there for a shot with Hunter. And again, Cooper Tires, obviously a huge supporter of our program here. Anna, thank you so much. Hunter McElray, winner at Road America. Third place today, definitely in the championship hunt for sure. He was able to score more points than our leader, Braden Eves, so closing in the gap on the points there. Driver who'll sit second here on the podium, led early, ends up coming home in second after a great dash near the end of the race. Finishing second for Jay Howard, driver development. Put your hands together for Christian Rasmussen. Nice job, Christian. Look for more. He'll start on the outside of the front row tomorrow as well. And to give Christian his second place trophy from Cooper Tires, Rick Klepfer will come and join us up here on the podium as well. Rick's got that P2 trophy. Christian just a step away from grabbing his first Road to Indy victory. Once again, the future stars of the NTT IndyCar Series on display for you with all of our Road to Indy events. These drivers just getting started in this journey. One more spot on the podium, folks, and we like to kind of reserve our biggest round of applause for drivers who get that first big win because they're going to remember this first trip up to the top of the podium. Do me a favor. Let's do it for this young driver from Boca Raton, Florida for Cape Motorsports. The winner today, Darren Keene. We've done this before in karting, Darren. This is awesome. What a race for you. I know you wanted to win that first one. This was a hard one to win. It was not easy at all.
Yeah, it was definitely hard. I got in front, and I did a good couple first laps. I got a gap, and then I think the nerves got to me for like a lap, and I dropped like a second off. And then I got myself back together, got a gap before the safety car, and then the safety car came, and I was like, oh, I wish this would end under yellow just to make it a little easier. But it was a super good race. I'm super happy. Huge thanks to Cooper Tires, Allied Building Products, Anderson Promotions. Without you guys, it's not possible to be here. So thank you so much. Also, huge thanks to Cape Motorsport. I wouldn't be here without them either. And huge thanks to my family and everyone who came to support Oz Negri and my friend and my girlfriend.
Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you.
Enjoy it, Darren. Get up on top here. No more talking for you. Let's get a trophy in here. This guy's a winner here right now. And to present that P1 trophy for Darren Keene, Guy Hardiman will bring Darren's first Road to Indy victory trophy. What a run it was. And as he said, challenged aggressively. A couple of minor little mistakes. The nerves getting to him, but he was able to gather that mental focus in and get the job done. A green checker one-lap dash. Darren able to hold off with a big move down into turn number 3. Had to go deep on the brakes to get out of that corner cleanly. But ladies and gentlemen, he is the winner here today. What a tremendous, tremendous run. One more time, how about a full round of applause for my podium today? Hunter McElray, Christian Rasmussen, and his first ever Road to Indy victory, Darren Keene.
It's a gorgeous South Florida morning here at the Palm Beach International. Perfect setting to test out the new Cooper Xeon RS3 G1 tires.
It's a pretty brave move to put these tires on straight-up race cars.
The racetrack is the perfect scenario for this particular tire.
All day they were great, super predictable on the breakaway.
The tires, they seem like they have a lot of grip. You'll get a lot of use out of the tires.
For 15 seasons, the Castrol Toyota Racing Series has led the way in New Zealand motorsport. With 170 drivers and 276 races so far, the graduates have made their mark in international motor racing. This is the pathway for the world's young drivers. And this series hits the racetracks of New Zealand for 5 weeks every year on the quest to find the next world champion.